Good evening. Welcome to Restoring Hope with Crosswinds Counseling. I'm your host, Curtis Smith. As we roll through December and the Christmas season, we know life is very busy and we truly appreciate you spending some of your Thursday evening with us. We are also very thankful to our community partners, Tesco, Shepherd Community Center, and Prime 47 downtown. Without their support and without the partnership of WHMB TV 40, we would not be here each Thursday night at 9:30. Tonight we have the privilege of meeting two leaders who are seeing the increasing importance of focusing on mental health in their organizations. We traveled to Fort Wayne to sit down with both of them a couple of weeks ago. Up first, Kathy Turpin of Brotherhood Mutual. She joins us and tells us about the challenges they're facing as a successful and growing organization. Kathleen Turpin from Brotherhood Mutual joins us today. She is the Vice President of Human Resources. Kathleen, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
For those that don't know Brotherhood very well, give us an overview of your organization.
Yeah, Brotherhood Mutual is a niche market property casualty insurance company. And the way I like to explain that is we're niche market because we insure churches and church-related ministries. So we serve over 60,000 ministries across the United States, but we're headquartered here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Virtually every state, too. You're in
Yeah,
47?
All but 3.
Church insurance is something that maybe a lot of people don't think of, but that is something that I assume is very critical to a lot of ministries around the country.
It is, and it's not just churches. We serve Christian colleges and Christian schools, camps, headquarters, a lot of different ministries. And yeah, a lot of people don't think about that, right. But it's one of those things that's unique.
From your perspective, obviously being the head of human resources, talk about the investment into people. It's something that I know means a lot to Brotherhood. For you personally, what does that look like in a large and growing organization?
Yeah, well, our people are everything. And we have over 500, almost 600 employees at Brotherhood Mutual, most of whom are in Fort Wayne, although we're spreading out from here. But it's all about meeting our employees where they are, and we want them to have a good work-life balance. We want them to we accept them as whole people, so we invest in them in different ways. Obviously, in some of our benefits and ways that we do that, but we have some unique things. For instance, we have a voluntary chapel every Thursday morning that employees can participate and actually is run by employees. Cool. So we do some unique things that are just part of who our culture is and who we are. But if our employees aren't healthy, it's going to be hard for them to be able to serve our ministries. And so our mission statement is advancing the kingdom by serving the church. And the only way we can really serve others is if we have the employees in a healthy place to actually serve them. Right.
It's like the old saying, you can't give away what you don't have. Right. Tell me a little bit about the partnership with Crosswinds Counseling. You became a corporate partner with the corporate counseling arm of Crosswinds. What has that looked like? What has that meant to your employees?
Yeah, we've really enjoyed it because we've provided some level of EAP to our employees, and we are strong supporters of treating the whole person. So we want them to have both the physical health, which we provide through medical insurance and other things like that, but also we want the mental health piece taken care of. And we wanted to partner with someone who was somewhat like-minded, who understood our faith perspective the same way and was able to meet people where they're at. And so being able to partner with Crosswinds has just been an opportunity. We've seen a lot of our employees that have felt that freedom because there are so many resources and so many people and so many different ways that they can connect with people, whether that's, especially in this COVID world, in person, over the phone, chat, so many different ways that they can do it over text. There's a lot of different ways. And so our employees have lots of opportunities to work with different individuals based on their need and their specific issue. And we provide it to the employees and their whole family.
Let's talk about the faith-based nature of it, because you mentioned being like-minded, and that root in the Bible and in faith is important, but it's something that at Crosswinds, we don't try to hit people over the head with. I assume Brotherhood has the same mentality, so how do you walk that line in HR and in corporate counseling and in EAP work, where you want to be faith-based and you want to be like-minded, but you want to allow people to have the freedom to express that in the way they want to?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that was part of the benefit of having Crosswinds, was that we knew that, our employees are going to be at different stages of their faith journey. And so one of the things we talk about is the fact that they may have an issue where the fact that it doesn't have to be Christian counseling per se. And that really spreads through all of Brotherhood. It is our mission, it's who we are, and we find that our employees that are passionate about advancing the kingdom by serving the church, they're usually the ones that also want that faith integrated. But we do find ways that, again, we don't have a specific denomination. We're cross-denominational, so we have lots of different perspectives in our employee base, and we just try to meet people where they're at.
What has the experience of working with the Crosswinds Counselors been like? What that experience of bringing in an outside company to do this and partnering with them and getting counselors in to get into the nitty-gritty with employees, what has that looked like for you?
Well, I think it's been superb for us, and a big piece of that is the capacity. There are lots of different counseling options, and so it's not just one or two people that they can choose from. It can be from a Christian biblical perspective, or it doesn't have to be. It can be groups or it can be individual, and so I think we've found that there's accessibility to get to the people that we need to, and that's been helpful.
I know it's sometimes tricky to get feedback from your employees because it is anonymous and you want to respect people's privacy, but have you received feedback from your employees about the experience of going through counseling with Crosswinds?
Yeah, our employees are very positive on it, and it's getting utilized. That's usually, we don't know who goes, we don't know any of the details. We do know, because of how we pay for it, that people are utilizing the benefit in a way they've never used an EAP before. So I think that is an indicator of people going back and how many times they're visiting. So we get some of that aggregate information, and the way that we pay, we know that it's being utilized, and people are very positive when they respond back.
If someone from a different organization was showing any reservation about jumping into this with Crosswinds, what might you say to them to ease any fear or concern they would have?
Well, one of the things I like about Crosswinds is their payment model. Before, it's usually like you pay per employee, per month, or per overall type of payment. And then regardless of whether you have 2 people use it, 20 people use it, or 200 people use it, you pay the same amount. And it was probably closer to having like 10 people use it. And now it's utilized, and the way that we pay for it is as employees pay it, as they use it, then that's how we pay for it. And that just provides a really good opportunity for us to feel like it's really being useful, and it's a good use of our money. So I would tell people we have biblical counseling, we have lots of options, and it's done in a way that's affordable and makes sense for both the employer and for Crosswinds.
That's wonderful. Kathleen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us and to speak with us today. We'll be right back here on Restoring Hope with Crosswinds Counseling.
Shepherd works with both the first and second generation to break the cycle of poverty. It's a 2-gen approach to say we want to help the parents and the students to help them have the tools for them to break the cycle of poverty.
You know, it's easy to think programs make a difference, but we know from 35 years of experience, relationships is effective.
In this world, we don't need more programs. We need to know that more people care for us.
Our second conversation this evening also took place recently in Fort Wayne. I had the pleasure of chatting with Deb Graf from Blackhawk Christian School. As you can imagine, leading teenagers through school and preparing them for the world is trickier now than it has ever been. Deb shared how Blackhawk's relationship with Crosswinds Counseling has been helping them to be successful in this ever-changing world. Deb Graf is joining us now. Deb is from Blackhawk Christian School in Fort Wayne, and Deb, you wear many hats there. You are the Director of Guidance, you're the middle school assistant principal, and you teach the internship class.
Yes.
You have a lot of interaction with students from grades basically 7 to 12. For those that don't know Blackhawk Christian very well, it's a private Christian school in Fort Wayne. Tell us a little bit about the school.
Sure. Blackhawk Christian School is, like you said, a private Christian school, and we have about 1,000 students from preschool through 12th grade. And we are, our mission is preparing hearts and minds to serve Christ. And we do that through academic excellence, a biblical foundation, and a Christ-centered community. And the students have the added benefit of having their teachers as born-again believers who love and serve Jesus and want the students to love and serve Jesus too. And so we partner with parents to come alongside them and disciple their children in that same end.
Let's talk about coming alongside kids. Kids today, I don't know how they do it. If I had grown up with the kind of technology in the world that we have right now, if I was 12, 13, 14 with a phone, I'm not sure how well I would have handled that. How are kids doing at Blackhawk? How are they handling all the pressures from this world, all the fast-paced change, all the technology? It's such a different world from when we were kids.
Right, very much so. We are trying to help them to learn to navigate that world in a Christ-centered way. Obviously, not everyone makes good choices, and
that's not true of only kids. That's adults too.
That's true. That's true. So we allow students to have cell phones, 9th through 12th grade, because they need to learn to navigate that world, and they are learning through technology. We have one-to-one technology in our school, and so each one will have their own computer, have it through the whole day. Some of them take it home, middle school, leave them there at school, and they have that available to them. So we're trying our best to help them to learn how to navigate that world while they're in our care.
I would assume that my next question goes to mostly your Director of Guidance role, but maybe it bleeds over into all. A couple years ago, you started partnering with Crosswinds Counseling. What kind of an impact has that made on the lives of some of the students that you've seen?
You know, it has been a huge impact for our families who, where they have discovered that there's a need for mental health counseling. And it's, let's face it, counseling is expensive, and this is something that we offer to them. And I have a real good pulse on what's happening in the school for the emotional and social needs of the students. And then we'll navigate that by suggesting counseling. Some of them will come to us and say they would like to receive counseling, but it has opened up avenues where people can receive assistance in areas that we didn't previously have.
And you have seen some tremendous success stories through Crosswinds Counseling being in the building with you.
Yes, that's correct. I'm the one who does the scheduling for that counseling, and so this is our 4th year of having the counseling in our school, and we just have seen our current counselor has just really helped students with anxiety, depression, grief counseling, suicidal ideations, all kinds of things that students are going through today. And the goal is always to get them some tools to help them to be able to navigate through life on their own without needing counseling. But until they can get to that point, we have that available for them.
Tell me about the stigma, because obviously teenagers can be cruel. They can certainly be concerned about what their peers are thinking of them. This idea of going to counseling seems like there would be a real mental hurdle to climb to get to the point where I'd be okay going to see a counselor. Has that been a challenge inside the school setting?
That's a great question. I would say that it is getting easier for students. Some still have that same stigma that they do not want to see a counselor. They don't want their peers to know they're seeing a counselor, and they will seek counseling outside of the program that we have. There are others who are quite fine with that and have really grabbed on and are working hard to make changes in their life. I think the mental health world has done a really good job of trying to reduce that stigma that's attached with counseling.
If you were to speak to someone in your shoes in Indianapolis, where we are being seen here, what would you say to them if they express concern about bringing Crosswinds Counseling into a school setting or into a setting where they're working with preteens and teenagers? What would you say to them to maybe ease some of those concerns?
I have seen nothing but good at Blackhawk Christian School, and the counselors that we've had there have been wonderful to work with, and what I see is a real willingness to not have counseling be a crutch for students, but to work them off of that. And after a counseling, a time period where our counselor's in the building, he'll come to me and say, okay, this child doesn't need to see me next week. In fact, they don't need to see me for 3 weeks because they're doing so well. And so it's always to kind of wean them off of that assistance and get them to where they can function on their own.
That's awesome. Deb, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us today and sharing. Deb Graf from Blackhawk Christian School in Fort Wayne. We'll be right back.
In the heart of downtown Indy, at the corner of Pennsylvania and Maryland Streets, it's Prime 47, the city's only independent, locally owned and operated steakhouse, offering gourmet dishes, the highest quality steaks, fresh seafood, and an extensive wine list. Prime 47 specializes in large parties and events. So, whether it's dinner for 2 or 200, it's prime time you visit Prime 47, Indy's Steakhouse, for the finest in dining.
Worry, conflict, and fatigue don't have to rule your life. There are always challenges, and working with a counselor to navigate them may be the best decision for you. Crosswinds counselors are compassionate, qualified, and dedicated, and they can give you the support you deserve. Whether navigating crisis or seeking personal growth, this is your pivotal moment. Contact us today. Years from now, you'll remember today as the day hope was reignited.
Welcome back. Each week here on Restoring Hope, we take a few minutes to focus on the word hope in our title. It's something that seems to be missing in much of our world today. Tonight, Crosswinds executive Gordon Haynes shares thoughts on hope and how our perspective impacts our life.
Hi, my name's Gordon. I'm a member of the Crosswinds executive team. Did you know life is hard? It wouldn't surprise you to know that anxiety is at an all-time level in the United States today. Between COVID, politics, inflation, and just everyday life, there are lots of challenges. If you look at social media, there are people that believe nobody else is struggling except me because they forget that social media is the highlight reel. It isn't about people's everyday lives. If you are a person that lives in America and you have pets, you have family, you have parents, you have a job, at some point you're struggling. We all struggle. That is life. There are people that believe and live by the mantra of, when this happens, I'll finally be happy. When I lose 10 pounds, when I gain 10 pounds, when I get that car I want, when I get that job I want, when I finally get that house I want, I will finally be happy. And what we're losing track of is that God wants us to be happy every day. He wants us to find joy in the journey. Life is about the journey and seeking joy. God wants us to have that joy. Jesus Christ died on the cross for us so that we could have that joy. So I'm going to encourage you to realize that you can't control the circumstances of life, but you do get to choose how you react to those circumstances. I heard an analogy that I really liked. The difference between a hummingbird and a vulture. A vulture spends its time flying everywhere all day long looking for dead things to eat. A hummingbird spends its day flying around looking for sweet things, looking for nectar. And guess what? A vulture finds dead things every day. And guess what? A hummingbird finds sweet things, nectar, every day. What are you looking for every day? Are you looking for reasons to be unhappy, reasons to be offended, reasons to be a victim? If you are, you'll find those things. I believe that if you choose to look for the joy and look for happiness in your life, you will find that, and that's the choice I make. Have a great day.
Thank you, Gordon. Great reminders in that message tonight. With Christmas just a few weeks away, we're into one of the happiest but most stressful times of the year. For many people, anxiety is never higher than it is during the month of December. Tonight in our Counseling Corner segment, Crosswinds counselor Elaine Awayinka gives us some tips on reducing the stress of the holidays.
My name is Elaine Awayinka. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with Crosswinds Counseling. As we enter into a potentially busy holiday season, I would like to share with you some tips on reducing holiday stress for children. Stick to their schedule as much as possible. Kids thrive on routine. It's maybe even good to rehearse the plan for the day or even the week. Schedule some time for outside activity. Age-appropriate activities for the child helps boost their mood and resets their spirit. Avoid overscheduling. I know it's tempting to say yes to all the invitations that are offered, but it can also be overwhelming for the child. Schedule peace and quiet. This is a good opportunity for the child to rest and reset before the next activity. Monitor their sugar intake and be aware of the changes in the regular diets. Keep a regular meal routine as much as possible, and also when you're running errands or shopping, to pack some healthy snacks so they're not eating sweet treats on a regular basis. And to help reduce the anxiety in children is to set an example by monitoring your stress and anxiety during this time. Hopefully these tips are helpful. Have a happy holiday.
Shepherd works with both the first and second generation to break the cycle of poverty. It's a two-gen approach to say we want to help the parents and the students to help them have the tools for them to break the cycle of poverty.
You know, it's easy to think programs make a difference, but we know from 35 years of experience, relationships is effective.
In this world, we don't need more programs. We need to know that more people care for us.
In the heart of downtown Indy, at the corner of Pennsylvania and Maryland Streets, it's Prime 47, the city's only independent, locally owned and operated steakhouse, offering gourmet dishes, the highest quality steaks, fresh seafood, and an extensive wine list. Prime 47 specializes in large parties and events. So, whether it's dinner for 2 or 200, it's prime time you visit Prime 47, Indy's Steakhouse, for the finest in dining.
Tonight, you've seen the impact Crosswinds Counseling is having on businesses and schools. Perhaps as you've learned more about this organization, you've realized you don't need the services of Crosswinds Counseling, but you need to be a part of this organization. If you're a counselor, a therapist, or mental health provider, and you would like to pursue a career with Crosswinds Counseling, we are looking for great men and women to make a difference in the lives of people in our community. There are job openings in other areas of the business too. If you would like to join Crosswinds Counseling, you can visit the website on your screen right now, crosswindscounseling.com/careers. If you know of people who are looking for work in this field, please let them know about Crosswinds Counseling. Right now, we have a tremendous need for people to join the team and bring hope to our community. As our time comes to a close tonight, thank you again for spending a little time with us on this Thursday evening. We truly do appreciate it. Next week, we will meet the founder of New Day Treatment Center and continue to focus on bringing hope to our community this Christmas season. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next week. Be blessed.